Hello and welcome to the Wedding Dish Podcast. Grab your fork and knife and take a seat at our table as we dish on all things weddings. We will talk with real couples and wedding pros about love, life, and entrepreneurship. I, of course, am Sarah Alapin, your hostess with the mostest on the Wedding Dish podcast and the CEO of District Bliss and Photos from the Hardy. We sadly do not have our French Bulldog buddy because he was sleeping soundly in a sunspot downstairs and I didn't have the heart to bring him upstairs. So he's here in spirit. Silly little man. Before we get started, if you haven't listened to last week's episode, flag it and go back. We had an incredible conversation, so much fun. You definitely don't want to miss it. And today we are dishing with one of the humans behind the wedding registry that makes dream honeymoons happen. As the CEO, she leads the brand toward the future of weddings and honeymoons and teaches couples to invest in their happily ever after. I would love to welcome the founder, co-founder, and CEO of HoneyFund, Sara. Thank you so much for joining me again today.
Hi, Sarah. It's so great to be here. And I'm so happy to be back because we have so much wonderful new things to talk about.
Yes, you had so many cool things that were on, like you were about to launch the last time that we chatted. And I'm so excited to hear a little bit about, what's going on over at HoneyFund and just in general, like you have so much insight into weddings and honeymoons, and I'm really excited to dig in.
Hey, let's go.
All right. So we're going to start off with weddings. Why do you think that more couples are choosing destination weddings, specifically domestic destination weddings, rather than traveling internationally?
Oh, I love this topic. So destination weddings are changing, and we researched, surveyed about 2,000 couples last year to find out how they were thinking about planning their wedding in 2026, what destinations they were going to for their honeymoon. Were they thinking about their wedding as sort of a more traditional affair, something more modern or alternative? And what we learned is that about 23% of honeymoons are domestic right now. And about a third of all weddings are destination weddings in 2026, and two-thirds of those are domestic. So that's like
Wow.
25% of all weddings are domestic destination weddings in 2026, which I really
Wow.
think is a, a reflection of a couple of things. First of all, couples are sort of combining travel goals with their wedding. So, like setting the honeymoon aside, just like there's this place we've always wanted to be, or there's a place that we'd really love to hang out with our friends and family. Let's make that our wedding location, right? Number two, couples are actually choosing their wedding location based on the affordability of that market. So if where I live is not affordable to get married, let's go somewhere pretty and cool and like memorable that is more affordable than where we live. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially coming from the DC area where it
Yes.
is very expensive to get
Yeah.
married.
And I'm in
And
California. It's very expensive. Yeah.
yeah, that's so interesting. And, I think that opens up, um, yeah, that opens up a little bit more. Well, it could open up or limit you to your honeymoon planning.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have some insights into this. When you're having a destination wedding, how do you handle your honeymoon planning? Do you have to stay in the same location? Do you move to a second location?
Yeah.
Um, Especially if you've been like really dreaming of like that Maldivian honeymoon or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, as the founder of Honey Fund, someone who's always been focused on how do we make a great honeymoon happen after the expenses of the wedding. Um, I figured it was kind of a no-brainer to kind of combine them because it's just saving money on flights, right? Like hopping from here to there is more expensive than just doing the both in one place. Um, but it turns out most couples in 26 are not combining their honeymoon location with their wedding location. They're wanting to do them
Oh,
two separate things. And again, I think this comes back to travel goals. Like more people have more goals post COVID than really we ever have had, right? And we have more opportunity now to see the world through Instagram and, YouTube, and follow our favorite travelers or, location content providers. And so we were building these big lists of, like, dream destinations. And so if you can knock two of those off your list with a wedding in one and a honeymoon in another, why not?
Yeah, that's really true. And I mean, yeah, I guess, the logistics for me, well, I guess time of year wherever you're getting married versus time of year wherever you're honeymooning could come into play. And the flight duration. Like if you're destination wedding, like my husband and I did what I guess I would call a somewhat destination wedding because he's from California and we were only inviting our immediate families. So we went to where the bigger family was. So it was destination for us, but
Right.
not for like his family. Um, but then because we were going to California, we didn't want to go to Europe for our honeymoon or something. So we ended up going to Hawaii because it was the easiest place to go. And then the year on our 1 year anniversary, we did like a 2.5 week road trip through Italy and
Oh,
Sicily.
God, that sounds so dreamy. And by the way, you just hit on our two most popular honeymoon destinations for 2026. Hawaii is number
Ah,
one, and Italy is number two.
really? Okay, so it's flipped since we talked in 2024 because
Yeah.
Italy had taken Hawaii in 2024.
In 24, it looked like Italy was going to take Hawaii, but it actually didn't. When we went
Ah,
back and analyzed all the data again, we saw that Hawaii actually had maintained its number one position that year, but Italy has maintained number two ever since COVID. And this year we have a surprise top five entrant that we hadn't seen before, which is Japan.
oh, I love Japan.
Yeah, Japan is hugely popular right now. And it's funny, you'll talk to couples who have gotten engaged and you'll ask them, so when are you getting married? What kind of wedding do you want or whatever? They're like, oh gosh, we don't know. It's probably going to be a couple of years. We haven't even thought about it. And then you'll say any honeymoon ideas and they're like, we want to go to Japan. Like they already know the honeymoon, and Japan and Thailand are like out of everyone's mouth right now.
Is Thailand also in the top five?
Thailand's not in the top five, but it's come up from last year. It went from number 12 to number 11, so it's creeping into the top 10.
Oh, interesting. Where else is in the top five?
Okay, top five. Historically, we've seen Hawaii, Italy, Mexico. This year, it's Hawaii, Italy, Japan, Florida, Mexico.
Oh,
So
interesting.
again, the domestic honeymoons, passport free. Hawaii, obviously, passport free, but Florida, also very popular for honeymoons. A lot of our couples are like into like theme parks and Comic Con and like really cool stuff like that. So you've got all the Potterheads and the Disney files, going to Florida for those experiences.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. I was like, oh, the Keys and like, the islands and
For
the
sure.
A31 region.
That's all there too, but you have a big draw for the theme parks.
Oh, that's so interesting. I love that for people that they like are doing the cool stuff that they would, because a lot of people like it is an excuse to splurge in a way or go big. And with something like the theme parks, they're way more expensive than
Oh,
people realize.
oh yeah. I lived in Florida for 2 years with two kids. I probably spent a small fortune and or a college fund on going to Disney and Universal.
Oh my God. I just remember parking was like insanity.
Totally.
Oh my gosh.
But hey, if you've got a honey fund for Disney World, you can splurge for the VIP parking.
That's true. Or the in-park hotel.
Oh, that's my dream. I love that.
Because I never even got to go in there. And I was always like, who stays here? This is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
what does it inside look like?
Oh yeah. They're awesome. Yeah, they're so fun.
those were the lucky kids.
For sure.
Now the lucky adults.
Yes, exactly. And there's so many more Disney adults now than there ever were, and those people are getting married and of course they want, or like Star Wars people, they can go to
Yeah.
Star Wars, and see the Millennium Falcon on their honeymoon,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's so fun. Switching gears back to weddings, I am so curious how you've seen wedding etiquette evolving for the younger generations, especially when it comes to gifting.
Yeah. So there's two things around gifting that I am really curious about and thinking a lot about from a strategic standpoint, how we can serve this market in the best way that, HoneyFund's value and our experience comes across. So the first thing that I'm seeing a lot of right now is like Venmo me my wedding gift. And that just, you know, even like, I don't know if it's me or like my generation, but I'm a Gen X. I feel weird about like sending a Venmo request for any reason. Like I went out to drinks with my friend last night and she forgot to Venmo me. Like I'm going to send her a Venmo request. Even that feels weird, where she actually owes me the money.
Yeah.
but like being like, hey, we're getting married, Venmo me some money. It just feels like there's such a better way,
Yeah.
there's such a better way. We developed HoneyFund. HoneyFund was actually the very first sites that did crowdfunding at all. And it was very much, asking for money for your honeymoon, but doing it in a way that was about the honeymoon and the experiences and not about the money. And, if you could have read the message boards on the Knot back then about is having a HoneyFund tacky and like the venom and like, ire that, these brides would like come on and just rail on the idea, how dare you ask somebody to fund your honeymoon? That is so tacky and awful. Ultimately became totally etiquette approved. And now like 40% of couples are registering for some part of their honeymoon or just cash for another life occasion. But asking just for a Venmo just feels like that is still, I wouldn't recommend it. I think it leaves a bad taste in your givers' mouths. And wedding gifts are always the discretion of the giver. A wedding registry is a benefit to help them pick something they know you'll want, but it's not an expectation, and it should never be positioned as an expectation on your part.
Yeah, I agree. I think, especially for like the older generations, like, older than us
Boomer,
generations.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like my parents don't have Venmo. They wouldn't even know what to do about that. And they
right,
would be very like, and they're not like, they're not grandparents.
yeah, yeah, right.
And I think they would be, I think they would feel as though they were disappointing the couple by
Mhm.
not being able to execute on that, which
Yeah,
is in a different way, is a little bit tough because you don't want your guests to feel like they in some way are disappointing you. So
right.
how you manage that is going to be, um, yeah, you have to, I would imagine you have to put a lot of care and thought into the execution there to yeah.
And that's what we did, and what we've been doing at HoneyFund for 20 years is really caring for the guest experience. And every comment we've gotten from a gift giver on HoneyFund has been some variation of the phrase, "That was so cool. I wish I had that when I got married." Right? Meanwhile, like the bride and groom are fretting over, should we ask for money? Is it okay to ask for money for your honeymoon? But really when you think about it, a registry is a service to your wedding guests. It gives them an idea of what to give you. They're going to give you whatever they want to give you, and you're going to be gracious and accept it with thanks. But if you want to help them get you something they know you're going to love, you put together a wedding registry. And on HoneyFund, what you end up with is the money, but the givers feel like they're able to give to something specific, like, your nights in Greece or your, little sunset yacht cruise or whatever it is that you're doing on your trip, or money for a home or, starting out your life together. That's very much acceptable and being done these days. But the way you present it to your guests in the format of, a web page like HoneyFund, where you can kind of highlight other aspects of your wedding, talk about what this registry means to you, give them an opportunity to like write you a little message about how excited it is to give this thing. That is infinitely more enjoyable for them than Venmoing you on their phone.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, and especially for me, when I have given Honey Fund for my friends and family members, they will like take a picture of them doing that experience and send it to me in the thank you card
Yes.
and say, we enjoyed this so much. Thank you. Like, did it. So you get to kind of like live vicariously a bit through the couple.
Yes.
And you know how much they enjoyed it. Like you see it on their faces. And I think that's one of the really special things about it too.
Yeah, and experiences are what we cherish now. This is something that I think the younger generations are really valuing more than ever before, is like, we value shared experiences. We value seeing the world. We value being together, quality time. And, we have enough stuff. If I need a new toaster, I can go down to Walmart and get one for $8. It's not like I need people to buy this for me for my wedding anymore. But what is a luxury and what I wouldn't be able to do on my own is that unforgettable trip, that starts out your marriage and gives you a chance to breathe out after the wedding, to focus on each other when you've been trying to please everybody and their brother for the last, 18 months planning this wedding. That's something that's very valuable.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. I think that's it's just like a very magical way to interact too. It's a bonding experience
Yes.
when you get to give someone that as well.
Yeah. And you actually touched on the second thing I was going to mention about the way etiquette's evolving with this generation, which is how the couple shares back that experience and that gratitude for that gift. We're seeing a very interesting trend of couples just not sending thank you cards at all. And
Oh.
I really dove into this. I talked to a lot of people about it. I thought about it. And it seems that it has to do with just unfamiliarity with mail in general.
Oh.
Couples just don't send mail. You get some mail, and yes, you have to figure out invitations, but something like 40% of our couples are doing online invitations now. Um,
Oh.
so the idea of sitting down and handwriting a note with your hand and a pen, which, everybody's on this or this, and then addressing it, return address, stamp, where do those things go on the envelope? I mean, you would be shocked how unfamiliar this concept is for younger generations. And I mean, you think about it, it's not shocking. Like, they're a digital generation.
Yeah.
We put every digital tool in their hand. You don't need to send a carrier pigeon anymore. You can just send your friend a text, right? But like, it's so daunting for them to think about writing out, 50, 75 thank you notes, that they're just kind of like letting it fall off their radar. And along with that is no message ever gets to the giver, hey, I got your gift and I appreciated it. They just, like, I'm hearing from people who've been to weddings that said, yeah, like, I went to 6 weddings last year. I only got one thank you note.
Oh, wow.
Like, I didn't know that was going on until a few months ago. I was shocked. So we're thinking a lot about this at HoneyFund. How can we support a younger generation to express their gratitude in a way that, number one, they're comfortable and familiar with. Number two, that's easy to do. It's not another gigantic part of your to-do list to get married, which it has been. Let's be real. Thank you notes
Hmm.
takes up hours of time,
Yeah.
So, we have ways for you to upload photos of what you're doing on your trip, email that through our platform. Um, we have a contact collector now, so you can collect everyone's emails, phones, and mailing addresses if you want. You have all their information at your disposal digitally. And the important thing is that your giver knows, number one, that you got the gift. Like,
Yeah.
if they don't know you got the gift, that's a whole nother, we get a lot of emails from people like, did this couple even get my gift? Right. And then number two, that you appreciated the gift.
Oh, that's so interesting because yes, if I didn't know someone received my gift, it would be like I'd be holding space in my brain about it.
You would be like, oh my God, they think I didn't give them a gift.
Exactly. Or that money went to waste. Where did that
Right.
go?
Right. It's in the company kept it, or it's in a black hole somewhere. Right. So the thank you note is more than just the gratitude. It's like a transactional receipt in some ways. Like you're alleviating the stress that person felt about making sure your gift got to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I would totally think that something happened to the gift if I didn't hear back from them. And then I'd feel so awkward asking.
That's the other thing. How do you have that conversation, right? Like you're putting it on your guest to have to ask you, did you get it? And then they're feeling bad that they're making you feel bad for not showing some goddamn appreciation. It's just a terrible situation. It's terrible.
But it does take up so much time to write thank you notes, so I get it.
Yeah.
And also the familiarity with the mail, that's hysterical and
Yeah.
like makes me feel ancient, but that's like,
Yeah.
it's not as long ago as like a beeper or something.
Right. Right. But like the ripple effects of like, you know, not saying a thank you note are massive. So just even if it's just a text, I tell people like do what you can. The most
Yeah.
important thing is that they know you got the gift and you are happy it came. And, just thank you so much. That's all it takes. Even if it's just like a selfie on the beach in Hawaii, we got your gift. Thank you so much. As a giver, that would put the biggest smile on my face. I don't need it to arrive in the mail. I don't need to, waste paper and cut down trees to get that message. Like we've got all the technology in the world. It's easy.
Yeah, I agree. I'm fine as long as I know you got it and that you're enjoying it in
Yeah.
some capacity. Um, that's so interesting. Now I'm like thinking about all the other stuff that I just haven't noticed that the younger generations are like changing now that
Yeah.
I'm slowly becoming a dinosaur, apparently.
You and me both, babe.
We threw it together, Sarah. How this year, and I guess since we talked last, how are you seeing wedding and honeymoon budgets evolving?
Oh yeah, I love this topic because the honeymoon is near and dear to me. Like me and HoneyFund's co-founder, we started HoneyFund together after our own wedding because we wanted more budget for the honeymoon. Traditionally, let's take like published, wedding budget averages pre-COVID, let's say $30,000, right? And a honeymoon to Hawaii for a week, maybe $3,000. So that's like a 10-to-1 ratio. Post COVID, we're seeing more typical wedding budgets in the like 5 to 15,000 range. So scaled back, micro weddings, elopements,
Yeah, pared
smaller
way down.
destinations. Yeah, pared way down, fewer wedding guests. And then honeymoon budgets of like 5,000 or more, right? So that's like more like a 2-to-1 ratio. So it's just very different to see that the allocation of the overall budget really going a lot more towards the honeymoon and a lot less towards one big day that's probably costing us more than we can afford.
Yeah, that's so interesting because you have the same budget. Like the money is the money. So it's how you're going to spend it. I guess it's probably pretty obvious that we had what would now be called a micro wedding. We only had immediate family and just each of our three best friends. And then we did Hawaii so we basically did exactly what you're saying people are doing now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
At least I'm not a dinosaur in that way.
You were ahead of the trend for
But
sure.
it's true. Like for me, I would to have that experience over the course of 2 weeks or whatever the case may be, as opposed to spending all of that on one evening. To me, it was worth it to have that experience where I got to have, a really magical 2 weeks with my husband. And that did not take away any of the enjoyment from my actual wedding day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's all about. I think couples are just looking for more meaningful experiences. So whether that's on your honeymoon or just the day itself, like, is it more meaningful to us to have a closer knit group and, a more unique sort of true to our personalities type experience? Or is it more important to have a more traditional format with, everybody that would expect a wedding invitation? That's a personal decision, but there are massive budget implications depending on which one you choose.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's going to affect, everything else because the money is, it's got to come from somewhere. The budget is the same depending on where you allocate it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sarah, this was so much fun. I love having you on the Wedding Dish podcast. You are just such a delight. I love our Sarah sisterhood.
Yeah. There with no H.
I love it. Where can our listeners find you online?
Yeah. Go to honeyfund.com. We've got a great blog. You can sign up for a free HoneyFund account. It comes with a wedding webpage, RSVP, no fees on gifts, contact collector. We've really built out a lot of the features of HoneyFund to go beyond just the cash gifting. Of course, cash gifting is at our core. It's always on. Honeymoon, home down payment, whatever it is that you're looking for. You can also download the app in the App Store or follow us on Instagram and TikTok for a lot of really inspiring content.
Love that. I didn't know you had a new TikTok. Well,
Yeah,
new to me.
yeah. I think we launched it right before you and I spoke last, and it's gotten really popular.
Oh, wow. I'll have to check it out. I love travel content. I'm sure that's shocking.
Yeah, travel, wedding inspo, budget inspo. We're all about sort of helping the couple have the wedding they want, not the wedding that everyone expects them to have.
Yes, I love that. Get rid of those shoulds or
Yes.
the have tos.
Yeah,
And
you're not going to find like FOMO based, marketing. You're not going to get encouraged to outspend your budget. You're not going to, if anything, we're always coming up with more ways for you to make your money go farther. We have some really great like credit card offers right now. So you can get a 0 interest card, start paying for your honeymoon, and then pay it off before that interest comes due. So we're really doing our best to help couples get there.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Well, while you are finding HoneyFund online and the amazingness that they offer, we will link out to them in our description here. Tag them on our Instagram, which is at the Wedding Dish Podcast. And if you would like to join me on the Wedding Dish Podcast as a guest, you can go to theweddingdishpodcast.com. I would love to have you. And don't forget to tune in next week. We have another amazing guest. If you like the podcast, give us a follow, rate, and review. And Sarah, again, thank you so much for joining me. This was just such a fun conversation.
Thank you, Sarah. Keep doing the good work.
Thank you. Until next time, cheers.